Hello everyone, Mrs. Stevens here. Hope you're safe and well at home. Today we're going to try to recognise numerals 1 to 10 and we're going to make the numerals using things you might find around your house or in your garden outside. We're going to try to form the numerals using different objects. So, have fun! Hello, Mrs. Stevens here. Today I've been into my garden to collect a few things that I thought I could use to make different numerals with. We're going to see if we can form different numerals with the natural objects I've found in my garden. So, if you would like to join me, you will need to go hunt in your garden, see if you can find some sticks, some leaves, some pebbles. You don't have to have all three, you can just have a few of one sort if you want to. Okay, you can pause the video while you go and look for those and then come back. Right, I'll show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to push those leaves to one side to begin with, and on my piece of paper, the first number I'm going to do is numeral 1. Now numeral 1 is quite easy to do. I can do it in lots of different ways. I could just use one stick. That looks like the number 1, a straight number 1. I could use my stones to make a number 1 and put them in a very straight line going down the page. Number 1 is the easiest number to make. So I have made a number 1 with my stones. I could also make a number 1 with my leaves. Now these leaves are a little bit bendy and they're a bit wobbly, but we'll just be very careful. So again, I have made a very straight number 1 with my leaves. If you wanted to with your leaves, you could glue them or stick them down with sellotape if you wanted to keep your picture. So number 1's quite easy to do. Now number 2 is a little bit trickier, and if you're not quite sure how to do it to begin with, it might be a good idea to write the number. You can use a pencil so that it's very faint and you cover it up with whatever you're using. But I'm going to use a pen so that you can see it. So I'm going to make the number 2. It can be as big or as small as you like. So I'm going to start by putting my pebbles on top of the numeral 2 that I've made, that I've drawn, because then I can just follow the lines. So you can put them all down. You can't really stick pebbles down, so it might be a good idea to get an adult to take a photograph of what you're doing, and then you've got your picture. There we go. I've made the number 2 using my pebbles. Okay, now what number comes next? Do you know? That's right, number 3. Shall we see if we can do a number 3? I wonder what we could use for number 3. Now, number 3 is another tricky one because it's curly. So, I'm going to write it first. Curly whirly, number 3. Doesn't matter if it's not exact. You can, so I could use my pebbles to make my number 3, or I could use my leaves to make a number 3. Now, to go around the corners, you will need some smaller leaves to go around the bendy corners. I'm sticking these leaves on upside down, but as I said, they're a bit curly, so they stay in one place a bit better when they're upside down. I need a smaller one there to go around the corner. Okay, if you've done yours in pencil, you will just be able to see the leaves rather than seeing your pen marks. So, I have made the number 3 with leaves. And if you want to stick yours down, then all you need to do before you start putting the leaves into place is put some glue onto your drawn number 3, and then you can stick them down to your glue. You might need quite a lot of glue so that they stay in one place. And we can carry on. So we can stick all our leaves down to make our number 3. And it's quite good because it's a bit like collage. This is, I like sticking things down to make numbers. Oh, and there we have it. We've made our number 3. So, what number comes next? You're right, number 4. Now, number 4 is a little bit easier because it's got straight lines. So this time, I think I'm going to use my sticks to make the number 4. Now we've got to go down, across, and one down the middle. So let's have a look. It's important that I choose the right size sticks. If I haven't got the right size sticks, I could break them off. So I'm going to put that one down there. I need a smaller one to go across. Maybe that one. And then a shorter one to go down. And I have made the number 4 with my sticks. So, what number shall we make next? Number 5. Well, that's another tricky one. Maybe we could use 2 different sorts of things. Maybe we could use a straight, oh, I want one a little bit longer than that. Let's use that one. No. Let's have a look. I'm going to use this one and break a bit off so it's the right size. I'm going to use a straight one there, a straight one to go across the top. Now we need to make his big fat tummy. It's a bit difficult to do it with sticks, so I think I'm going to do the fat tummy with leaves. And then we've used 2 different types of natural materials to make the number 5. We need to make it go round the corner a little bit to make his fat tummy. Round the number 5. You can have fun with all the different types of things you've found in the garden, making numbers. Just like that. And you can go all the way up to 10. Now, you don't have to use things that you found outside, but it is nice to do that. You could use things that you find in the house. I've got some pasta here, So the next number I need to make is number 6. That's another tricky one. So again, you can draw it if you want to first, or you could just have a picture of the number 6 next to you, or draw it on a separate piece of paper and then try to make the number 6. Now we need to go round the corner. It's got a straight side and a curved bottom. So we've got to go all the way around to make the number 6. Let's have a look. You might want to move them about a little bit till it looks a little bit more like a number 6. There we go. So there's my number 6 with pasta. Shall we do number 7 next? I know number 7 would be easy to do with sticks again. So I'm going to use my sticks to make my number 7. I just need 2 sticks to make my number 7. Don't forget to make sure you get it the right way round. Now the next number I'm going to make is number 8. And I thought I would use some sand to make my number 8. If you haven't got any sand, maybe you could collect some soil up out of the garden, just into a little tub, and bring it inside or make it outside. And don't forget that when you've been collecting things out of the garden and you finish making your numbers, it's really important to wash your hands. So first of all, I'm going to draw the number 8 with my glue stick. Again, if you want to, you can draw it with your pencil, because it's very tricky to see. Now, I wonder if that's going to work out right, because I can't see where I've put my glue, which is why it's a good idea to draw it with a pencil. So I'm going to sprinkle the sand onto the piece of paper, and it should stick to the glue. Now, you could do this with some soil. If you used a coloured piece of paper, you could perhaps do it with some flour that you use to bake with, or a little bit of sugar. It won't show up on white paper, so you would need to use some coloured paper. Now that doesn't look like the number 8, does it? So what I'm going to do is very carefully tip the sand that I don't need back into the bucket, and there is my number 8. It's a little bit lopsided, but it doesn't matter. We're practicing forming our numbers, and the sand has stuck to the glue, so when I pick it up, I've still got my number 8. Right, let's make number 9. I'm going to use my pasta again, I think, to make my number 9. I need to make the circle at the top. This pasta's quite good because it's quite small pieces, so it makes a circle a little bit better. So go round, and then we have to make the long stick that comes down to make our number 9. All the way down. It likes to wobble and roll around, so you do have to be very patient. But it's quite calming, really. There we go. My number 9. Oh, stay there. My number 9 out of pasta. And finally, let's make number 10. Number 10 is quite easy. Now, don't forget, number 10 has got 2 digits. It's got the 1, so I'm going to try and find a nice straight stick. I think that's a straight, oh, this one might be a little bit straighter. And then I need to do the 0. So I'm going to use my pebbles to make the 0. Now, I need to try and make my 0 the same size as my number 1. Otherwise, it would be, look, a little bit funny. So, let's go round the corner, and I've made my number 10. When you've made your numbers, you could put objects on your numeral picture to represent the numeral. So I've made my number 3 out of leaves, and I've drawn 3 crosses. 1, 2, 3. Or you could put some other objects onto your numeral. 1, 2, 3. To show that you've got the numeral and you can count the number of objects. Now I'm going to write numbers using my finger. I'm going to use my finger to make different marks in different things. So, first of all, I'm going to use some sand. I'm going to tip a little bit of sand onto the plate. You might like to do it on a tray or anything you want, it doesn't matter. Give it a little shake, and then it means that the sand spreads out evenly. There we go. And then I can use my finger to do a number 1. 1. Give it a shake. Number 2. Give it a shake. Number 3. And you can practice forming your numbers like this. It's fun. Number 4. So that's using sand. I'm going to tip my sand back into the bucket. If you haven't got any sand, you could use a little bit of flour. Now, flour is very messy, so you do need to be careful. Tip a little bit onto the plate or tray, whichever you want to use. Give it a little shake, just a little shake, so that it spreads out evenly on the plate, and then we can do our numbers with our finger. Number 5. We've got a little bit too much flour there, I think. I'm going to tip some back out. Whoops. Okay, you only need a little bit. Let's try number 5 again. There we go, that's better. See, you only need a tiny little bit. Give it a shake, and let's do number 6. Number 6. This is really good practice for you at writing your numbers. Give it a shake. Number 7. Give it a shake. Number 8. Something else you could use is some shaving foam. That's quite fun to make marks in. I'm going to tip my flour off my plate. Can you see I've made a bit of a mess? So it might be a good idea to put something down on the table before, or do it on a tray. So I'm going to I've actually got shaving gel. It's not as good as shaving foam, but we can get the right effect by adding a little bit of water. So I'm just going to add a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of water. Now, to make that into foam, I need to swish it around. Swish it around. There we go. I've made my foam. Now, you might want to have a cloth by the side of you or some paper towel so that you can wipe your fingers. you need to smooth it over. I'm going to wipe my fingers on the side of the plate. Now I'm going to try and draw a number 9 all the way round and down. Don't put too much on your plate. It looks better if you haven't got too much. If you put too much, you won't be able to see the plate at the bottom when you draw your number. So I've made number 9, and the last number I'm going to make is number, can you tell me? That's right, it's number 10. Now remember, we need 2 digits for number 10. I need a 1 and a 0. And I've made my number 10. So I've used sand, flour and shaving foam. You can choose one of those things to make marks to practice writing your numerals. I hope you have fun, and don't forget to put it on a tray so you don't make too much mess. After watching this video and taking part in the different activities, can you now recognise numbers 1 to 10 and show an interest in representing numbers in lots of different ways? If you can, well done. If you found it a bit tricky and still finding it tricky to recognise the numerals, don't worry, we will practice some more. Don't forget, we love seeing what you've been doing at home. Here are the ways in which you can share your work with us. Get an adult to take a photograph and pop it on our WhatsApp group or email it to us. Or you could draw a picture of what you've been doing, or even post some of your numeral pictures into our post box. Thank you, and I hope you've had fun.